Hey, Jay here. We're going to give you some tips today on tire stands. I get a lot of questions from guys asking about tire stands, and I think that's because there's not a lot of good options available to buy. You can find tire stands, Motion Pro, different people have them. Rocky Mountain has some tire stands, 89, 90 bucks, in there under 100 bucks. And they're lightweight, and they will work for most guys. I do a lot of tires, and I like to make sure that I have a good, strong stand. My stands that I use are this style right here. You can't buy them because it's difficult to ship these because they're very heavy. So this one, I mean, I'm really strong and this is heavy for me. So I'm gonna say it's like 40 pounds, I don't know, something like that. It's fairly heavy. And so what I'm gonna do is give you some tips. I think the best thing you can do if you wanna make a stand like this is to have uncle, buddy, welder buddy, weld you one up. You know, take a picture of these, which you could do off a screenshot. Take a picture of one of these, and I'm going to give you all the dimensions that I think you should do. So here we go. You ready? So first thing I'm going to talk about is the dimension of the stem, this top part. I like to use this because if you've seen any of my tire videos, it really helps me when I move around the tire. So for all big bike tires, this one right here is right at 3/4 of an inch diameter, and this will do all big bikes. But if you're not going to do any, the disadvantage of this is, and mine's fixed here, it's been welded on. As you can see, it's been welded right here. Now there are guys I've seen that have made inserts so you can put different diameters here. This is a piece of Delron or hard plastic, any type of nylon. The reason we have this on here, so it doesn't scratch the rim when it goes back and forth, the hub or the sprocket or rotor. And I've worn through some of these over the years, and I just put a new one on. So this is what I do right here, and this does all big bikes. Current, 250s, 350s, 450s, any of those, all fit on here nice, and it's a nice, big, strong stem, and you're not going to bend it. With some of these smaller ones, let's talk about this a little bit. So this one's like right under 1/2 inch, 488. Now this one, it needs to be a tiny bit smaller to do like the current KTM 50. I have another one of these stands. I got like 4 of these stands all over in my van and so forth. This one needs to be right under 12 millimeters, which is like 470 in inches, this diameter. And the length of this, so like on a big bike, this length works out pretty good, which is about 7.5 inches right here. And I've got a little chamfer on the end here, so don't damage anything when I'm putting it on. And on the smaller bike one, I think you could be a little bit shorter. This one's around 6.25 inches here, 6.25 on the small one. And you can see on this one I got this cool plate we made, but was bolted in. Well, it started to wear through, wore all the way down to the bolts. I used it so much, wore like 1/4 inch of this off. I had my buddy machine me up a new one. We put it just on like so. Okay, so one other important part here is that on the diameter of this base, it could be a little larger, but it definitely can't really be any smaller than this. And we're right at 6 inches around on this circle for our base. And you wouldn't have to use some expensive plastic. You could, I even used to have a rag on top of the metal when I had just steel down there, so it wouldn't scrape anything up. So hopefully that helps you out there. So this is a good height of these stands. Let me show you. First I'm going to go over the height. Let me put this right on the ground here. And the height is at 29.5 inches. Now, I'm only 5'7", almost. I used to be. Too much riding, dirt bike riding, has made me like 1/2 inch shorter. So think of that. I got like a 29-inch inseam, 29.5. So maybe that inseam number should be a good reference. So, if you're 6 foot, you're not going to go 6 inches taller on this than mine. You're going to go 2 or 3 inches taller is what I would recommend on the height. So I think that height is critical to be in a good fit. I'm at 29.5, and I am 5'6.5" or so. It used to be 5'7". So anyway, that gives you a good idea of the height, and I think that's a really good height to work with. And I have buddies that are like 6 foot, and we brought them up 2 or 3 inches, and they're pretty happy bringing it up there, splitting that difference. So that's the height. So that's a big thing. Now, this footprint, we're using, so this tubing right here is like, this is 2 inches by 1, and I think it should be 1. 2 by 1 is this stuff, and this works really nice. It's really heavy duty, You can see the angle it comes on works really nice. And then this square tubing up here is just like a 2-inch square tubing coming up to this base right here. And so the next big thing is how far apart these are. And we're at 27.5 inches from here to here is 27.5 inches. And what else critical dimensions would you need? I think that's the main things. Now, guys are gonna go, I can't. The problem is shipping one of these would be very expensive nowadays. Shipping costs have gotten very high. So I think if you want to do one of these, I think your best thing to do is to try to round up some scrap metal. This one was actually made from a different style stand and they welded on the top that I like. So hopefully that helps you out. I don't want to get into the business of making these stands and selling them just because I think it's going to be too difficult to ship and to make any money at. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. I think if you're going to round up the materials, you got a buddy or you pay a shop to help you, I think you could be up to $200, depending upon how much you have to pay for, if they don't have scrap material, you could be $200 easy into making one of these things, maybe even $250 range. So hopefully that helps you out. Pretty good stance. Can you think of anything else we should mention?
All the dimensions will be on
in the description. That's a good point, Donnie. So I got Donnie help me out. In the description, I'll lay out those dimensions. And maybe we can even draw a little picture here. But we'll put those dimensions in the description, and hopefully that helps you out. When you're going to build your own, that'll help you. We'll see you out at the tracker trail soon.